welcome back to Miss Bree Reads. I'm Miss Bree, and this week we have a new story. The author writes the story, the illustrator draws the picture. We got the front, we got the back, we got the spine, The title of the story is Pumpkin Town, or Nothing is Better and Worse Than Pumpkins. Written by Katie Mackay, illustrated by Pablo Bernasconi. Look at those illustrations. Those pumpkins look so real. Pumpkin Town, or Nothing is Better and Worse Than Pumpkins. José and his family grew pumpkins. That growing began with shiny seeds, which were followed by long vines, and those vines grew every which way. The pumpkins grew every which way too, from small to fat and tall. The Jack-be-littles could be dropped into pockets. The Happy Jacks were bigger. A strong enough boy could carry just one. The Big Moons were bigger still, too large for 5 boys to roll. Come fall, José and his family would gather the pumpkins and collect the vines. Then 2 trucks took the fruit to faraway cities. Some were hollowed and carved, and some were saved for pies. But before the trucks took the pumpkins, José and his family saved a few. They needed the seeds. When it came to saving pumpkins, José's father always said, "Save only the best and sell the rest." So José and his brothers hollowed the best pumpkins and saved only the biggest, brightest seeds. They took the duller, smaller seeds to the edge of the field overlooking the town and tossed them. But one gusty, dusty October day, when José and his brothers took the lesser seeds to the edge of the field and flung them, the wind caught those seeds and carried them and didn't let them loose until they fell like rain down on the distant town. The seeds slipped into straw roofs and settled into flower pots and sprinkled gardens. And that seemed to be the end of it. But the next spring, rain awoke those small seeds and plants began. More rain fell and vines grew every which way. They wrapped around chimneys and wound through corn. At first, the townspeople liked the vines, for they were lovely and delicate. But then the vines began to climb up and down and around, growing leafy and thick. They snaked green and silent through one window and then out another. Oh my goodness. Then fruit grew and grew and grew every which way. Soon, the townspeople were stepping over pumpkins and around pumpkins and under pumpkins. It was hard to walk even a block. Rooftops sagged under the weight of big moons. Fences fell, and when the wind blew, one had to dodge Happy Jacks and Jack-be-littles falling from trees. "Nothing is worse than pumpkins," groaned the townspeople. Meanwhile, up on their mountainside, José and his family cut and stacked their pumpkins, saving only the best. And when they were done, they stepped back and said, "Nothing is better than pumpkins." But when José and his family looked down at the town, it looked odd. It seemed so green and orange. Since their field work was done, and because José and his brothers were curious, they walked to town the next day, where they saw more vines and pumpkins than they'd ever imagined. They remembered the gusty, dusty day that they'd scattered the seeds. "It is our fault," whispered José. "We must do something," whispered his brothers. "We rest for now," whispered José. But that night, José and his brothers cut and stacked the pumpkins and vines. They worked as quietly as they could, but some townspeople still sneaked peeks. They marveled at how well the brothers worked. The brothers climbed up poles and twined through trees and snaked silent through one window and out another, gathering and stacking pumpkins and vines. When the townspeople awoke, they discovered a mountain of pumpkins and a hill of vines and a mound of tired brothers. While the brothers slept, the townspeople filled a wagon with hay and set 5 great watermelons between José and his brothers, in thanks for their aid. That wagon took the brothers back to their home, where they laid in the glossy grass, still sleeping. When their father found them there, he asked them what they had done to deserve the great watermelons. "We just helped the townspeople with their harvest," "Oh," said the brothers, which was true, and nothing more was said. Down in the town, 5 trucks came for the mountain of pumpkins, and the townspeople were given a grand sum of money for all that fruit. "Ah, nothing is better than pumpkins," they said. Much of the money went towards a feast held around a bonfire made by burning the hill of vines. It was decided then that the rest of the pumpkin money would be spent to carve a statue of the 5 mysterious brothers who had made a mountain of pumpkins. It took all of the next week for the townspeople to repair their roofs and their fences, and it took all of that week for José and his brothers and his father to eat their great gifts. Those watermelons look so good. The melons were so sweet that José and his family said, "Nothing is better than watermelons." "Be careful with the seeds," José's father said. "Our field grows pumpkins, not watermelons." So José's family filled a great bowl with seeds, and those seeds were forgotten until a day later when the wind roused José's father at night. He feared that some of those watermelon seeds might be blown into their field. By moonlight, he carried the bowl to the edge of his field, and he tossed the seeds. The wind caught those seeds and carried them and didn't let them loose until they fell like rain down on the town. The watermelon seeds slipped into straw roofs and settled into flower pots and sprinkled gardens and slid into the soil around the statue of José and his brothers. And that seemed to be the end of it. Uh-oh, what do you think is going to happen again? The end. And that's the end of our story, my little bookworms. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. You want to know what my favorite part is? My favorite part is the pictures. They're so cool. Look. Trucks and trucks. Remember, reading is a magical adventure that could take you anywhere you want to go. So keep reading and exploring new worlds. Until next time, farewell, my friends. Subscribe and like, comment what book you'd like to hear next.